Good cold morning to you all. How are you doing today? Well, we got probably, I don't even think we got 2 inches of snow this morning, but down south, unbelievable what they're getting down there or what they've got down there, and we didn't get hit too bad, but I'll tell you, it's cold as a witch's tit out here. It's about 10:30 in the morning right now, and that's where we're sitting. We were colder than that this morning when I started the truck up. I'm standing out here in the shed, freezing my you-know-what's off. I want to discuss briefly, because I've had a couple of fellas, saying, well, you get what you pay for, pertaining to Harbor Freight tools. And I agree 100% about that. But I'm going to tell you something. Like these bolt cutters, all right, $7.99 on sale. Yes, you're not going to expect these things to last a lifetime. But you do want to have them last a little bit. You don't cut hardened steel with them. I have no need to cut padlocks and stuff like that. I'm not a thief, so I have no need to do that. But cutting bolts and stuff on projects that I build are perfect. I may use this thing maybe 2 or 3 times a year. What I demonstrated on that cutoffs that I did in my last video, that's probably about 5 years worth of cutting that I would use on this with this tool. So would I want to go out and spend, what, $40 or $50 for the same thing that I'm going to use once or twice a year? That's foolish. If I had that kind of money, I certainly wouldn't invest them in a bolt cutter. I would rent one. So that's just one example. Most of my drilling is in light sheet metal and wood. And even though these are made in China, not Harbor Freight, Home Depot brand, HDX, like I showed you in an earlier video, these are like $3 a box at the time before Christmas. They're worth it. So, would I use Harbor Freight tools like on breaker bars and stuff like that, or 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch ratchets? No. I would use American-made stuff. But you got to remember, it's almost impossible to get American-made stuff unless you get something used at a yard sale, estate sale, or whatever. It's just, that's just the way it is. And if I was using it, if I was in a business where my tools are my livelihood, I would not buy Harbor Freight stuff, with the exception of small things like tarpaulins, some gloves, and things of that nature. Even their screwdrivers are soft metal, and I wouldn't trust them for anything other than light hobby work, electronic stuff and things like that. They'd be fine for that, but I've got more screwdrivers than I can count anyway, so I don't really need anything. But that's an example of some of the things that are okay to use and buy from Harbor Freight. Because when you buy from any of these places, a lot of these things, and I would say 90% of this stuff is made in China anyways. If not made in China, it's made in some other foreign country. So basically, that's what I wanted to just get across, because I know on some of my earlier videos that buy American, don't buy junk in China. But on certain applications where you're only going to use the tool for light duty and you're only going to use it 2 or 3 times a year, there's nothing wrong with Chinese junk if, you don't want to spend 10 times the money for an American-made tool that you're going to use only 2 or 3 times a year. Again, I'll emphasize, I'm not in a business. My tools are not my livelihood. I am retired, fixed income, have to work with the money that I've got, and what little projects I do They work just fine for the home do-it-yourselfer. I have the Ryobi for quite a number of years, made in China. These damn batteries will not keep a charge. But I've had the drill for a long time, and the drill is pretty powerful. It's just the battery. So you have to keep them on charge all the time, and that's what I do. I just charged this battery up about, I took it out of the charger about 3 days ago. We're going to see if she runs. All right, she works good now. All right, but let that sit about a week, and that battery be stone dead again. So, yes, it's Chinese, but I've had it for a number of years, and the only complaint with Ryobi products are the batteries are not worth the powder to blow them to hell. I just plug one in and charge the other one and use one while the other one's charging, and that drill is used for all light work anyways. This is the broom that I bought, and over here is where those bolts were that I had to cut off so that they wouldn't scratch the van. And that's what broke the first bolt cutter from Harbor Freight. I bought this, and I used it this morning to brush up the snow and clean the vehicles off. So really, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to make a point about cheap tools, and it's just the way it is. You go to, I don't even know if Craftsman is made in the United States anymore. I've got Craftsman tools. I've had them for years. Way back in the 60s, I bought a whole tool set of Craftsman stuff. So when I need to use any heavy-duty sockets and stuff, here's a cheap set here. Great Neck. Now I bought this at a surplus place. 1/2-inch drive impact. Would I trust this trying to break by hand with a pry bar using one of these? I'd be kind of leery about it. They may be okay if you put them on an impact socket air gun and use them like on a tire or something. You're probably okay, but you wouldn't want to risk your knuckles putting on a handbar and breaking them, because they may break. I haven't had one break yet, but this is made in China, but I have American-made sockets, and when it comes to real heavy-duty work, those are the ones that I use. I've got old tools, stuff all over the place, but if I need something heavy-duty work, fine. You want light-duty work? That's something that don't require a lot, because these are short anyways. And for average stuff that I do, Chinese tools are just fine. So I just wanted to make that a point, because some of you guys are kind of like saying, well, you know, you're not patriotic if you're buying Chinese stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you once again that you have no choice. Basically, if you want a tool, most everything now is made in China. We have no choice. We can't make the change. Not in my lifetime. Maybe in your lifetime if you're a lot younger than me. So, at my age, I'm not going to be worrying about it. We have to go. That's just the way it is. It's like death and taxes. There's nothing we can do about it. Thanks for watching. It's cold. Cold as a witch's tit.